I can see a lot of lovely comments from all of you in the chat box, introducing yourself, introducing your creative, telling us about your creative facts, and we would love to hear from many of you regarding your wonderful journeys. So keep pouring in your profiles, the creative facts about you in the chat as we move on to the session. Today's session is about discovering your creative bliss, wherein we are going to, delve into some frameworks which can help us to realize our own selves in a better way and in a more creative way. Okay, so I hope, a lot of times we make a lot of decisions and it's a crossroad of should and must. There are some things that we are really passionate about, which we want to do, and there are some things which the others are doing, and there is a constant fight whether we should hear ourselves do what we are passionate about, and also hear or listen or follow the path of the others. So over here I would quickly want responses in the chat on how many of you have felt or have encountered this kind of a crossroad between maybe your job, your career, your calling, things you wanted to do, any kind of decisions that you wanted to make. Quickly, if I can get some responses in the chat so that we can make the session more interactive. So, any kind of crossroad that you encountered between your life journey of who you are, what you wanted to do, and what you are doing at the moment. Feel free to pour in your responses in the chat box so that we can have a discussion in detail when we are proceeding towards and dealing more with the frameworks which we will have a discussion on. So, whenever we come across any kind of crossroads, there are too many ideas in our mind, ideas related to what we should do, what the others are telling us, and we try to find out, ways to articulate things and come to a decision which will be the best and the most creative of ourselves, or which will guide us the path to be our true selves and to also follow what we are doing in the truest way. So while we are ideating, there are too many ideas, we are making decisions, we understand things, we try to gain seek information, we observe what is going around us, what is the trend like, we visualize a lot in terms of what are the things that we can foresee, or what things look like when we will be moving, or when we will be choosing a particular path for in our own journey. Then we also sometimes evaluate and refine our idea so that we can come to one particular conclusion which will be the best for ourselves, and finally we try to implement the plan so that we are able to achieve the idea that we had in our mind, or attain the idea that we were working on. So basically we are starting from a simple idea, some dysfunctional belief which constantly make us feel what is it that we are weak in. And then we also try to reframe sometimes the sentences, or the ideas, the dysfunctional beliefs that we have in our mind. So constantly moving from our weak areas to our strength points, constantly thinking upon ways in which we can reframe our negative statements, constantly thinking upon ways in which how is it that we can convert our weak areas into the core strength areas is something which is the starting point of leading a creative life. So we need to continuously ponder over the areas wherein we feel that we are not very confident, and constantly try to reframe the same so that we can let the creative juices flow in us, and also we can come over with more innovative ideas that can help us in redefining ourselves. So let us now look into what are those creative ideas, what are some of the things that define me, myself, or I. And over here I would love to hear the responses from the audience once again. If you could share your insights on what are some of the things that define you as a person, what are some of the things that what are some of your personality traits, what are some of your strength areas that you abide by. So it can be from your work view reflection areas, it can be from your life view reflection areas, it can be something that helps you in standing out in your own life journey. It can be some of the memorable moments which you have cherished so far, which has made you feel very proud of yourself. It can be things that define you, it can also be some very important chapters in life. Okay, so all these things combined help us in defining who we are, our thoughts, our experiences, how we work, what are some of our expertise areas, what are some of the things that we are passionate about, lead us to define to work on our own definition of me, myself, and I. And I see a lot of participants have they are pouring in their responses in the chat, which is like a very encouraging sign that all of you are listening to me. And I would request all of you to continue to show this enthusiasm, so that we can learn from each other, we can get to know each other well, and also about some of our personality traits with which help us in defining our own self. So when we talk about things that define me, myself, or I, or our own personality, it is also about building our own compass. Okay, which is basically which basically deals in the three core questions, starting from who you are, what you believe, and what are you doing at the moment. So who you are as a person, what are your thought beliefs, and also what is it that you are doing at the moment. Is it following your passion, or is it a path that is completely different from what you wish to do or what you want to do? And here comes the persona canvas, wherein you can reflect the need of the hour, the things that you really want at the moment, the things that you are really passionate about. Some of the positive trends in and around us, wherein you see a lot of opportunities, wherein you see a lot of hopes. Some of the negative trends in and around you, which can be the headaches, which can be some of your fears in letting you go through this journey. So the more we reflect upon them, the better is it that we will be able to know ourselves, which is the core point of being or reflecting the creative side of us. And knowing ourselves is not a unidirectional sentence, or a very small or a very thin definition of defining oneself, but it includes a very broad overview of a couple of things, starting from your own strengths, starting from your friendships, starting from the career paths that you chose, also about your weakness, your workplace habits, and so on. So the more you reflect upon these core areas, the better is it that you will be able to reflect upon your own personality. And this personality can also be can give rise to a lot of ideas on what is it, how is it, and what are some of the best things that you can do, starting from being the most creative of your own self, starting from building your own unique brand, starting from exploring some innovative idea which can be built upon some of the areas which you are best at. So knowing yourself is the first and the foremost step of exploring your creative side. And then comes carving out your niche, wherein you, after knowing your own personality trait, you come to your core, you get to understand what your niche is, what are some of the things that you what is the market that you are going to fit in, and also what is the larger industry that is going to support you, and how is it that your service can be the most innovative service that you are rendering to the people from whom they are getting benefited. So carving out your niche helps you to also build your brand in between, develop your personality, develop your own expertise area in which you will be known as the best person and the most creative person. Similarly, it's all about mining the top, the mountain top. Okay, climbing up the mountain top as we are moving in our own journey of self reflections, wherein we are trying to discover more about ourselves, our creative selves. And it's not just, exploring only our own personality traits, it is also about, exploring the environment wherein we interact with a lot of people. We get to synergize with a lot of people. We try to collaborate and partnership, explore partnerships with a lot of people. We engage into activities which make us feel more worthy, which helps us in building our own capacities. There are a lot of users who would then also like to be associated with us, because whatever we are delivering or whatever we have, something to give to the others, that something can be of benefit to them. Then there is the interaction of the environment. Okay, and environment plays a very important role because it forms an interface between what you are doing and your results, your outcomes, and the objects, your inputs that you are using in order to make your plan a success. So a lot of things help us in defining our own self when we are, climbing up the ladder, when we are moving up the mountain top, and what all decisions we are making, how we are interacting, how meaningful relationships we are forming, how well we are interacting, how well we are synergizing with like-minded people, can cumulatively help us in uh, help us make our journey easy when we are climbing up to the mountain top. And hence, the personal branding canvas plays a very important role. We explored ourselves, we tried to define what our surrounding is, we tried to carve out, a niche for ourselves, we tried to foresee what is it that we can give to the others. And now it's the time for us to develop our own personal brand. And the personal branding can be done by digging deeper into our own identities. What is it that we can give, our offerings? Then what is it, or why is it that the people will believe in us? What are some of the benefits or the promises we are making to the others? How is it that we are positioning ourselves? Then, how is it that we are communicating with others? And also a little about our own target audience. Okay, so uh, collectively, when you dig deeper into these questions that can help you in defining your own personal brand, then that can help you in getting a creative edge on the work that you are doing on your own personal self, and also can help you in carving out your own niche. So when we are developing our own personal branding canvas, the more we dig deeper into our identities, our offerings, our credibility, our positioning, the communication, and also the target audience, the better is there's a possibility of us, uh, being projecting it's a way out in which we will be able to project ourselves in the best possible way. So over here, then again, I have an open question for all the participants. I would want you to reflect a little on the personal branding canvas, pertaining or relating to your own very self. And I would love if you could, share your experience of what is it that defines you or defines your brand or defines your own personality? What are some of your personality traits that help you in giving an edge over others in when you are starting or when you are working? It can be through your enterprise, or maybe it can be your own personal service that you may be rendering. So if I can get some more responses, I see a lot of participants sharing a lot of experiences, insights. That's really interesting to read. And let's keep this interaction going on, so that by the end, when we come to an end to the workshop, there are a lot of reflective points to take away. So also just keep pouring in your responses for your for some of the traits that define your personal branding canvas. And how do you position yourself? Who is your target audience? And what are your offerings that helps you in gaining an edge in comparison to what the others have to offer? Similarly, the leadership canvas also play a very important role, and it is more about, it is a toolkit, it is a framework that can help you in knowing more about your own personal self in terms of leading others. So whether you are the founder of an organization, or maybe you are working at a senior management of any organization, it is more about taking the people along with you. And how well you lead also determines the creative side of yours, because ultimately it is the human resource, it is the people collectively, and together with the team only we can achieve the work. So when we talk about the leadership canvas, it is to know more about your strengths, your capabilities. What are some of the things that you still want to learn? What are some of the areas wherein you want to build your capabilities, capacities? What are your stress signals? What are some of the goals that you would want to achieve in the next 1 or 2 years? Some of the strategies that you would like to implement, or you would like to have in your organization, that can help you in taking your organization to the next level. What are some of your expectations from your organization, from your team whom you are leading? These questions can help you in being a better leader when you try to strategize your own personal self, by understanding what are the things that you can do perfectly, what are some of the things that you need help in, and also what are some of your learning areas that can help you in defining your own leadership style, which is also very important when we are working with people. So ultimately we have to do, or dig deeper into, then again, our very own self, to reflect upon some of the creative traits that we can bring out based on our very own strengths, which all of us have, starting from what we are hearing, what we are feeling, what we are doing, what we are seeing, what we are saying, what we are thinking, and finally how we are empathizing, which is very important. So the deep dive can help us to reflect upon our own personal self, what we are doing, how can we be more creative. It can help us in assimilating a lot of creative ideas, a lot of interesting thoughts and insights that can further help us to get a lot of innovative ideas in any work that we are doing. So, like, we when we are reflecting, or when we are working towards creating something, innovating something, there may be a lot of problems that we may encounter, which is very normal. So what exactly is your grid pie? How is it that you identify problems? Whenever you face any problems, what are some of your reactions? How is it that you work towards resolving those problems? Okay, how how or through which angle do you like to focus on the problems? So then again, I see a lot of a lot of responses in the chat, which is like really interesting for me to read. And if I can get some more insights on your take of identifying and solving a problem, which plays a very important role and can also help you to, get or can also help you in um creating an outlook of creativity. So basically, any problems that you face can be identified. It can be broken down into thin pieces. Okay, it can be broken down into small sizes or pie of problems, and then each problem can be looked upon at different angles. And there can be multiple resolutions to a given problem. So in the chat, then again, if I can get some responses on how is it that you identify the problems that you are facing, and what's your approach, what are some of your reactions, what are some of your approach towards, resolving any given problem that you may be facing or that may be faced by you at any given point of time. So quickly, I would love to hear responses from you on your solving capabilities when we are working towards solving or resolving any issue. And then comes the failure reframing exercise, wherein, we list down the failure or the things that happened, in which we did not succeed. What were some of our screw ups? Where is it that the problem happened? Where is it that we screwed up the work? What is our weakness? What is our weak area in that given work or the given task which we couldn't perform? What are some of the growth opportunities that we see, or some of the learning opportunities we see through the incident that happened, which was the incident of failure? And also some interesting insights that you got. So when we reframe our failure to some kind of a learning opportunity or a growth opportunity, then there is a high likely chance for us that we are going to succeed and become a better and a more creative self of ours. So, like we discussed in the previous few slides, it's always good to reframe the failures. Okay, it's always good to learn from what we did which went wrong to some of the learning opportunities and insights that we can derive from the same, which can help us to become more creative and more innovative. So, the more we practice, the more we ideate on reframing, the parts from failure to the growth opportunities or the learning insights, the better ideas we will get and the more innovative we may be. So, starting from framework one of having smart goals that can help us resolve some of our tensions, of organizing and systematically working towards attaining the goals that we have set in our lives, can be defined by the smart goals that we have, wherein S stands for making specific goals, then M stands for making sure that the goals we set are measurable. A stands for making sure that the goals are attainable, they are not unrealistic, they can be implemented. Making sure that our stands for relevant, the goals are relevant, and they can be implemented, they can be worked upon, and they are not something that look good only on paper and only during the time of ideation. The last is T, which is time based, because every work has been assigned or designated with a given time frame. So the more uh, based on the deliverable or based on the time we have, what is the time that we are giving to the particular goal that we have set for ourselves, plays a very important role. So having having smart goals really eases out our own work of setting and also attaining the goals, the ideas that we have in mind, and to do a small pilot of what we have, what we have in our mind, to test basically where is it that it is working out and what are some of the problems that we are facing. The second framework is on mind mapping, wherein we create a lot of mind maps, we ideate a lot from a given central topic. Okay, so we have a central topic in our mind, and from the central topic, we diverge out. We ideate, we brainstorm, and we visualize a lot of ideas that can help us in attaining our goals. And from the many ideas that we have in our mind, we can put forward an action plan. That action plan can go in sync with what we have in our mind. It can be our passions, it can be something that we want to do, it can be something that we want to implement, and so on. The next framework and the last framework of the session is the life design assessment, wherein we have four columns. The first column is the health, the second column is the work, the third column is play, and the fourth column is love. And in the life design assessment, based on how well we are doing in each four columns, we need to rank ourselves from uh, in between the number 1 to 5. So over here, let us do a live, a live demo in order to find out how well are we scoring in the health part. So over here, let us quickly work out. Let us quickly, I would love to hear from you your scores, your scorecard on the topic or on the column health. How well are you scoring in health when we are talking about the life design assessment? From the number in between 1 to 5, how much score will you give to the column of health? Can I get some responses on the chat? So I would want to hear, your viewpoints on how much scorecard would you give yourself in the first column, which is health, the second column work, the third column play, and the fourth column love. In between 1 to 5, how much is the score that you are going to give in the four columns that have been set? 4, 3. Okay, perfect. Can I get more responses? Okay, I have seen two responses, and I also saw a lot of reflective or a lot of reflection points that are coming in from a lot of participants, which is really good. Uh, we are doing the life design assessment at the moment, and I would love to hear from you, your responses on how much is it that you are going to score yourself in the four columns, which are health, work, play, and love, from 1 to 5. So quickly, if I can get some responses, some more responses. I'll wait for 1 minute and then we can proceed forward with the discussion. 4. Okay, perfect. Anyone else? So, the life design assessment talks about how well you can balance your personal and also professional life. So, over here, we have four indicators, four key indicators that determines a perfect balance between, your personal and professional life, and that can also help you in leading a better life for your own self. So the four key uh, areas that help you in designing your life are: one is the health, the second is the work, the third is play, wherein we talk about all your recreational exercises, all your outdoor activities, anything relating to trekking, travel. Your The fourth column is love, your relationship with family, spouse, relatives, friends, peers, okay, colleagues, the work, how well you are faring in your professional life, whether it is manageable, are you able to meet the deadlines, what is it that your team has to say about you, how well are your superiors or supervisors satisfied with your work, how well are you enjoying your work. And the first one is the health, in terms of how well are you doing, how healthy are you, are there any pressing diseases, do you feel healthy? Otherwise, are there any restrictions, are there any major problems pertaining to health? So all these four areas are the key, and can help you in leading and designing a better life. And over here, the exercise that we are doing is we are rating ourselves from 1 to 5. We are giving ourselves a scorecard, and we are trying to assess where is it that the problem exists, and how is it that we can further improve or work towards resolving those problems. So yeah, I see a lot of interesting responses. So Tharsha says 4, Pooja says 3, Rajib says 4, Nidhi says 4. So I think all of you have been able to score yourselves well, and 4 is quite good. It's a good number, but still, in order to attain 5 and in order to design your life in the best possible way, wherein you are able to maintain a balance between your health, your work, your the outdoor activities, the recreational activities, and your personal life, you need to assess where is it, in which column or in which box is are you facing the maximum problem, and how is it that you can resolve the problem? What are some of the ways that can help you in leading a better life while making a balance between the four boxes that we have just discussed? Yes. So this was the last framework for today's session. And I thank you all for being extremely interactive, extremely participating. You can connect with us on our social media handles. We do have a lot of upcoming workshops on creative thinking, creative self discovery, planning made creative, which can help you, and which can help you to gain a deeper outlook towards your own creative self.